right, well, I went and bought a new tool. No surprise there. Anyways, I've been wanting one of these for a long time, and I didn't realize how cheap they were. I mean, for what it is, I just thought they would be a lot more expensive, but no, they're relatively cheap. And this is the one I bought here. This is a metal hole punch, but I think we can punch some other things with it. So we're going to do some experiments here in a second. But and I think that's the model number in the top right. I decided to go with this company here, and it is made in Taiwan, which I kind of like compared to some other places. But you know, I bought one of their pick sets, see, to keep in my bucket that I use for Renais and Navians and stuff, because I wanted to have some picks in there, but I didn't, you know, if you buy a full set of picks and they all have handles, well, you know, it just takes up a ton of space. But this fits in a nice little pouch, and you've got all the different tips you would need for O-rings and all that kind of stuff. They lock in this handle real nice. I mean, there's not really any play. I was just impressed, you know. Same thing with this. I mean, everything's really tight. Punches line up perfectly with the dies. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, that is just perfect. So I'm going to be using this for metal, but I think I'm also going to replace this piece of junk with it, because I'm pretty sure this can punch leather and stuff. But we'll try that out. But I hate this thing, man. It doesn't line up. It's just So the only, you know, I've made some modifications here. It comes with a depth gauge, which I guess could be handy if you're doing the same thing over and over again. But I took it off there because I'll probably keep it in the case. So it punches up to 14 gauge mild steel. And here's a little tip here. Go ahead and make yourself a gauge off of, you know, an actual gauge. So here's 14.078. I just grind that in there on a washer, and that way I keep this in the tool, and that way I know what my max is. So I'm gonna punch this, which is 16, and I hope that thing survives, because that is thick metal, you know what I mean? We'll see what happens there. I also, this screw you have to take out in order to change the punches. Well, I went ahead and soldered a thumb screw on there, and just to make it a lot quicker and easier. Now here's a tip that I debated about whether I should show this or not, because it's just so funny. Oh, okay, here we go. Anyways, I actually got this tip from my dad. He used to use lipstick, I guess, that, you know, whatever floats your boat. But he was a locksmith, and he would use it for like marking strikes and stuff. It's really, really handy. But what you can do, I decided to use this. It's just a sign I got too many kids. But I was like, man, you know what this would work great for? Not butts, but marking stuff. So because I did that, now I can't close the case. What we're going to do here is take that, push it down like that. Now I'm going to drill that hole, and that should line up perfectly. So let's see what happens. Finished drilling the hole, used a unibit to get through as far as I could without punching through the other side, then used that reamer to open it up. But now the case closes perfectly. Now let me show this, because I don't think I talked about what sizes it does. All the way from 332 up to 932. Now, one other thing I'm going to do is keep a punch in here. And the reason for that is, if you look, these have like a little centering point. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch where I want my hole, and then I'm going to feel around until this sinks in there, and then punch it. So it'd be helpful for getting exactly where I want, and then also it'll help preserve these tips because that's not going to really contact much metal. It's just going to sit in that, you know, the divot I punch with that. All right, let's go punch some stuff. Horrible dad joke there. Anyways, let's get going. All right, I got my lovely assistant filming, and we're gonna punch. Okay, I'm lined up now. This is 16 gauge. Honestly, this is pretty. Woo! That's probably, I mean, that's pretty rough for an 1/8 inch punch to do, but didn't bend, still lining up perfectly. Yeah, it looks pretty good. Punched it very clean. So I've got just a teeny, I mean, barely noticeable burr on that side. Well, that's pretty impressive. I mean, that's some thick metal. Awesome. I also want to mention that these handles open pretty wide, so it's not really something that you can do with one hand. It does mount in a vise just fine. This bottom piece here is angled, so you kind of have to mount it like I have it here, but it will mount in there just fine. And then you can, and you got to watch, these handles will pinch your hands if you're not careful. So to show you how much power this thing has, let's have my lovely assistant punch this piece of metal. All right, here's my sexy wife gonna punch a piece of metal. See if she can put those skinny arms to work. Squeeze! Oh, yes. See, that wasn't too bad. Yeah, this thing has a heck of a lot of leverage. Just pull that handle back hard. Yep. All right, let's see how that turned out. Yep, perfect. This is a piece of metal I'm gonna be riveting to something. So, yep, come in handy for that because it's got that 1/8 inch punch, so it's perfect for rivets. All right, let's punch some leather. I've got a thin piece, which is pretty hard to punch, and then I got a thicker piece. That turn out?
Yeah, just gotta pull it
Oh,
out.
oh, okay. Hang on, let me make an adjustment. What I did here was roll this die up in here so the punch actually goes further in, and that should help punch this little piece out. All right, let's try it again.
Perfect.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, let's do the thicker piece. Okay. So that could work great for punching gaskets and stuff too.
Okay, thicker piece.
All right.
That was easy.
Yeah, that stuff punches a lot better, but yep, perfect. Okay, I don't know what happened here, but I used to buy these things where the hole was not in the center, it was on the outside. And if you don't know what this is, it's a sticky pad. You stick it on a unit or something, and then you can put a zip tie through it to hold a wire. Well, you know, I'm a service tech, so I work on a lot of older stuff, and I don't want to just rely on this sticky back here to hold this on. You know, I want to put a screw in there, but you put a screw in here, you can't get the damn zip tie in there. And I don't know, but I have looked at every supply house, all the different brands. It must be one China, you know, one manufacturer in China making these things. But I can no longer find them with holes on the sides. I'm sure I could order them, but, you know, I buy these through the company account, so I got to buy them locally at a supply house. What we're going to do is see if we can't just punch a hole there and there on this. All right, I did make an adjustment here, so I want this die up as high as possible, but low enough so I can get the thing in there. Because if it's not up high enough, the punch won't go through and punch all that out. So anyways, let's stick it in there. All right, go ahead and punch it. Okay. Oh yeah, see, that's perfect. Yeah, that was really a clean cut. All right, I'm done messing around. I'm probably getting bored.
I'm a professional.
Yeah, right. Very professional mom, which is saying a lot. It's quite amazing. But nah, I don't know how good you'd be working on HVAC stuff.
Oh, that was easy.